And I believe we're live. So if you are watching this later on, hello from the past. Or if you're just watching right now, it's Monday night. The week has just begun, so we got a long way until the weekend. And I figured I would just do a little live stream, talk about some interesting things going on, a couple of things that I thought were worth talking about. They posted some interesting prize support today, and well, that's pretty cool. So we can kind of take a look at some of that. And yeah, I didn't know if I want to make a video just about prize support. So I figured I'd just talk about it during the live stream tonight. So what's going on? Let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and do. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at this new article they posted today, and it's got our. There we go. So we've got our B-Wings, which are the and then shield upgrade, which are the prize support, and they're double-sided. So you've got your 1.0 version on one side, your 2.0 version on the other side, and our Blue Squadron pilot right here. Now this makes me the family's doing well, thank you. This makes me think that maybe, just maybe, B-Wings are coming soon. Maybe we'll get the new 2.0 B-Wing as one of the next things that they decide to reveal for the Rebellion. That would make me a very happy camper, because I am ready for some more B-Wings. All of my original B-Wings, the gun tips have broken off. The only B-Wings I have left that are intact are my B-Wings from the Rebel Aces pack. So I'm already in the market for at least one new B-Wing anyway. And part of that is because I will already be, I'm going to buy one of everything, even the stuff I've already got, just for review and compare purposes as well. So that's certainly going to happen regardless, but it's nice to get them early. I got some new tokens over here as well. My mouse is going crazy. What is going up with this thing? I can only go left and right now? What's going on? Wow, I might need a new mouse pad. I think that's what it is. Well, there we go. All right, I can go up and down now. That's nuts. All right. But there was also another article here. Yes, for the Coruscant Invitational, and they're talking about some of the promos that they're going to have here. Look at all of this stuff. Look, I mean, if you're going to be attending this, if you're participating in this, I mean, there's a new damage deck, which is cool. I don't know. I've already got the T65 damage deck, so I'm happy with that one. But this is a cool one. There's a lot of status there. All right. Let's see. We've got all the different bounty hunters. Very cool. Alt art. And these look, I don't know if they're going to be spot gloss or not. But they're really, well, they just said alternate art. They didn't say it was spot gloss, did they? And then they've got these. They give these out at Gen Con too. I have a set of these as well for the titles. Calculate tokens. And then the bounty hunter crew. So a lot of bounty hunter themed things. The extra dial covers. But this is really nice. This would be a cool one. Only if you play Scum though. And it would be good for anything. And then, yeah, ticket to Worlds. Flight and lodging for Worlds, too. That's cool. That's one of the things, man. This is one of those things that makes me really wonder. I was at Gen Con, and somebody said something about one of the tournaments. I overheard somebody say, and I don't have the exact quote, but it was something along the lines of, let me set it back. Let's see, I'll tell you in a second. All right. So it was something along the lines of, all right, these, you consistently see a lot of the same people in the top 8. And I thought to myself, I said, it wasn't just that. They said, all right, you consistently see a lot of the same people in the top 8, and that's how you know that these are the best of the best. or something like that. And I kind of took exception. Now, this isn't an exact quote. And yes, I do like chicken. Thanks for asking. But I'm a big fan of chicken. But yeah, so I kind of took exception to that because like the people who can go to all these tournaments have a tremendous advantage as far as their likelihood of being able to make a top 16 or top 8 cut, far more than, that's, I don't know if that's really representative of people being the best of the best. Now, granted, I'm not blaming people who can go. I certainly would if I had the opportunity to go to all of these tournaments and events like Worlds and Nationals and the major level championship tournaments all over the globe. But it's, I don't know. I mean, like, I wonder how many people out there are really good that just don't have the opportunity to go. Or, I have no doubt that if I could go to every Gen Con and Worlds, that I would make top 8 at least a couple of times. I'm not trying to say I'd like to hope that I could do better than that, but if you go and you work on it over and over again, you're going to improve, and you have a pretty good chance of making it. But yeah. So that's just I don't think you can say that like that's how these people are the best in the world is because they're at all the tournaments. I'm like, that doesn't really, I don't know. Anyway, just interesting thing. But they're very fortunate. I think the people who get to go to these events are very fortunate. And maybe for some of them it's just because they happen to live. If you're like in the central, like right in the middle of America, central, maybe north, a lot of them, heck, if you're in Minnesota, you can go to Worlds, every year. You just have to drive there. And you're not that far from events like Adepticon and Gen Con either. You're like driving distance from everything. So if you're anywhere around there, you're fortunate if you're into that sort of thing. I'm down in Florida. It's harder for me. Although, I don't know. If I go back to Gen Con, I think it will be as an attendee, hopefully, and maybe try and actually participate in some events next time instead of just working there. So let's get on with some questions. Oh, there's another thing I want to talk about, but I'll talk about it in a little bit. It's about KeyForge, because there's some interesting opinions out there about KeyForge. But let's get on. Let's do some questions. Do I think X-Wing 2.0 is worth joining as well? Well, I guess it depends on your budget. There's so much out there for X-Wing 2.0 right now. I almost want to say if you're a new player, it might be better for you to wait for one of the new factions to come out, to jump in. Maybe Resistance or First Order, but it might even be better to wait for the Clone Wars factions to come out. I mean, we're not going to see those. We're probably not going to see them released this year. It'll probably be next year they come out. But I think it'll probably be a really good starting point for people just getting in. And as far as is 2.0 good or not, I think so. I haven't played very much of it yet, but it seems good. It seems fine. I don't have the most informed opinion yet because it's still not even officially released. So until it actually comes out next month and we can actually get a lot of games and like our first tournament in, and we'll see. One of the things I really do expect to see in 2.0 that's going to go a long way for improving it, in my opinion, is to see a wide variety. Like, I want to see no duplicate lists in a whole tournament. Then I'll be happy. Because that's one of the problems with X-Wing has had for a long time, is that there's a meta, and it's like this top 4 lists are the only things you can run. When the SSD comes out, would I stream an SSD on SSD Battle? Well, I will definitely do SSD battles for sure, but I don't know if I would stream them live. I mean, I would probably just record it and edit it and upload it like normal. Because streaming it, then I have to use like a webcam, and it's not going to be as good a quality. I used webcams for one of my battles, and it was tricky, and it doesn't get the clarity. And so I would probably just record it normal. I would love if Gen Con came down to Florida. That would be amazing. Although Indianapolis was nice. It was a very clean, pretty city. It was good. Do I think we will see some variants of Mandalorian fighters for Rebellion in Armada? For the Rebellion in Armada or X-Wing. Mandalorian fighters, I don't know. I don't know if Armada's going to get any more squadron packs, at least for the two factions. I mean, I'm pretty sure the SSD is all we're getting for the next 12 months for Armada. I think until next year's Gen Con, then we'll find out what else we're going to get after that. But I think SSD is it. So I don't see any more squadron packs coming soon. Hopefully, the next thing that comes out is Clone Wars factions, but there might be a wave in between. There might be 2 more years, and I think you have to prepare for that. So if another wave does come out, will it be like the waves are getting smaller and smaller every year? So it's I don't know if they'll do another squadrons pack. I imagine the squadrons packs was a cheap way. That would what? That's the only other way they could get smaller is if the next wave is just one squadron pack, like one joint squadron pack. That's it. that would be really sad. But yeah, happy belated birthday, Kevin Kennedy. What should you buy for Legion? Simple. Everything. I mean, start off, get 2 core sets, and then get one of everything else after that. There's not that much out there. I will do a what to buy first for Legion probably after the Palpatine and Wookiees wave comes out. Once that's all done, I think that we'll have enough variety that it will actually be useful. Because right now it's just like get one of everything, and maybe 2 core sets. You get the core set is just tremendous value. I mean, if you want to really be completionist, get 3 core sets. That's definitely. Well, I think there's a bunch of fighter reprints going to the printer soon. They're like in the queue. But yeah, we need more squadrons reprinted. I don't know what the delay is. But hopefully when the SSD comes out, all the Armada reprints and stuff will also be coming as well, because I'm hoping it reignites a little bit of Armada. Because one of the biggest, hardest things right now, this is something else I wanted to talk to about tonight, is a lot of people have been asking me how to get Armada started in an area. And it's not an easy thing to do, especially right now with a lack of product. Like, I go to my store and it's like, all they've got is like a Chimera, a Profundity, and like Victory Star Destroyers. It's like, there's like very little product in stock. It's not enough. There's no squadron packs, no small ships, nothing. It's only the big expensive things. It's frustrating because like nothing's in stock. I mean, even if you go to the online stores, you can get a little bit of stuff in stock, but not much. So it's tricky. Let's see. What is SSD? It's a Super Star Destroyer. So for Armada, the Executor, the super big one from Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. That's what that is. Yeah, the Rebels do need more medium ships. I think that would be great. That would be great. So, yeah. Well, I don't know if you can blame Amazon for price gouging, because the problem is a lot of those are private sellers selling through Amazon. So I think you can blame the sellers and not necessarily Amazon themselves. So and that's just kind of one of those things because it's an open marketplace, and not really an open, but yeah. And the cost of entry is short term, but it's still for a lot. It's easy for people who have enough to do it to say, but for somebody who never has $99 in disposable income at any one time, maybe they just can't do it. If the most you ever get, from paycheck to paycheck is I've got an extra $30, well then you can get an X-Wing core set, and if that's all you get, it's harder to save up, for $100. I'm just, having been there before, I understand that it can be like that, and that is a huge problem with Armada. Do I think we'll see more vehicles and ships added to Legion with the Clone Wars expansions? Yeah. I don't know about ships. I don't think they're going to put any ships in Legion at all. And I don't consider the Snowspeeder a ship. It's a speeder. So I don't think you're going to see X-Wings or Y-Wings or B-Wings or even TIE fighters. I don't think you'll see anything like that. I think you might. The closest is maybe like transports. I could see something like serving as a role like a helicopter would play in a normal Battlefield game. I think you could see some of those. Part of me wants to say the U-Wing could potentially work, and I guess that is a ship. It's a hybrid, but I just think it's too big. Those wings are huge on a U-Wing, and while the role of a U-Wing would totally work, I think a model in Legion would end up being like 2 feet long. I think it would end up being like Super Star Destroyer sized, and so who wants to spend $200 on a helicopter? So I think the best you'll actually get is you have rapid reinforcements already in Legion, which represents them being dropped off by a U-Wing or something like that. So that's certainly an option too. But I think the Clone Wars will totally introduce vehicles. You've got ATRTs, you've got the model for that already, so you could totally use that for clones. I think droids. I think you got a lot of options. Look at Episode 1 has a good ground battle. You have a lot of droid tech in Episode 1. If you look at the Battle of Naboo versus the Gungans, by the way, definitely want a Gungan army. But you've got those big tanks. You got the transport that drops off all the battle droids. But you also have those battle droids on the little skimmer, and that could be like the role of the speeder bike. You've got droidicas. You've got a lot of. Actually, Episode 1 has a lot of the stuff I think that we can potentially see in Legion. Obviously, Episode 2 has even better stuff with the Battle of Camino. You look at all of those vehicles, whether they're spider walkers, or the things with the two wheels that are out sideways and rolling in, those will be cool too. There's the ATTE. You've got, how much Republic stuff is going to be small enough to fit in Legion, though, is the question. The ATRT is definitely one. It's it can be a little tricky. I don't know if they're ever going to do an AT-AT for Legion. It's too big. It's just too big. It would be. All right, let's see. Let's try and get to some more questions here. Oh, before I do that, KeyForge. So, you guys, I've done a video. I've done a couple of videos on KeyForge right now. It seems like a really, really cool thing. So if you've already seen any of those videos, or if you're not familiar with it, basically it's this whole revolutionary thing they're doing, where every deck is completely unique. You buy a whole deck pre-constructed, it's procedurally generated, and it's unique. And you can't modify it. You can't trade cards. It's just you keep the deck as it is. This is the deck you're going to play with. You buy this deck, you play that deck. Kind of like when you buy a deck of cards at the store, except you're not going to trade those. You just you keep it as a whole deck. It has a unique back on it, and a unique front. Like the name has its own name, and that name is printed on every deck. So you know if you mix and match cards, people are going to know. And every deck is procedurally generated so that it has the same. It has 3 different factions in each one, 12 cards from each faction. You know, it's going to have creatures and basically actions, which are like spells. So think Magic the Gathering. It's going to have mostly creatures, but it's going to have some spells and artifacts also, and it's going to be playable, and that's really, really cool because every deck is going to play a little bit differently. And you'll have to play it multiple times to get the feeling of the deck. But like there's this one dude, and I don't know how many people, or if it's really just one dude making a lot of noise, like has this thread on off-topic forums calling it gambling and calling them loot boxes, and it keeps. He's mad at EA for the way that they handle digital loot boxes, and it's like, I don't know, it's frustrating. Because the dude just doesn't even understand anything about KeyForge. You know, it's absurd to call it gambling because you're getting exactly, it's $10 for a deck, and then you're done. I mean, you probably want the course, you probably want the starter, which has all the other materials to play, but you don't even need that. You can just get a deck and proxy your materials. It's just $10, and you're getting exactly what you paid for, one deck to play the game. I don't know. Anyway, there's no gambling involved. Not even remotely. There's nothing you could. It's not like you'd be hoping for anything in there. You're getting a deck, and it's exactly what you're going to get. Anyway, I like the game. It plays fun. I'm actually really looking forward to picking up a few more because I want a little more variation to try a few more decks. And it's something that I'll buy a deck, you know, maybe once or twice, you know, a couple times a year. I'll pick up a new deck, and I think it'll be great. But yes, all right. Let's see, Corruptor title for the Victory Star Destroyer. I think that's the bomber one. Let me look that one up. All right, back to Q&A. Thanks for hearing me out on KeyForge. KeyForge is cool, though. I think you guys will like it. All right, so the Corruptor title says, when you do a squadron command, the speed of each squadron with bomber you activate is increased by 1. However, the problem is if you use that on a bomber that is already speed 5, like the TIE Defender, well, you can't exactly go speed 6, can you? Because there is no speed 6. So it does affect TIE Defenders in that it increases their speed. However, it's already maxed. The reason that would be used, it could still work, is if something else was reducing the speed of the TIE Defenders. I think you would then, you know, it would balance out. It would take effect that if there was a negative number applied to the Defender's speed. All right, let's see. If Clone Wars comes to Armada, will it start with a new core set and maybe a new damage deck, or will it just expand on the current waves? Well, I would hope it just expands on the current waves, because I would really love the ability to take, you know, the Republic versus the Empire, or take Rebels versus Grievous, you know, and his CIS, you know, ships and stuff. Like, I would absolutely love that. So if it's a whole new system, then that would be sad, because then it wouldn't be coming to Armada. Then it would be splitting the Armada community in half, and that's a terrible idea. Imperial Assault has completely died off in your area. You love the game, but you're considering selling it off for Kill Team. What do I think the future holds for IA? I think the future holds more app updates for IA. I don't know how much more product there's really going to be for IA. But I don't have any inside information there. I think there may be a little bit more, but I don't know how much more. We might get one more small set of waves. Like, we still don't have Yoda yet. So they could do a little bit more IA. I think that's coming out really soon too. The next wave. At Gen Con, did you speak with any of the Armada designers? If so, what was your takeaway on their impressions of the state of the game and the future of it? That's a question. That's a good question. So this is funny. This is funny. Yeah, I did just speak with with one of the Armada developers while I was judging a Legion tournament, and they came up to me and said, "Hey, oh, you're Crabbok. Oh, it's nice to meet you." And I'm like, "Oh, it's nice to meet you too." I had no idea who this was. I had no idea who it was, and I just saw that they had a Fantasy Flight shirt on, so I figured they were somebody who worked for Fantasy Flight. Because I hadn't met all these people before. The only people that I've met before were people who've come to cons in Orlando. So, like a lot of your event coordination, your demo team people, people that are be on the showroom floor talking to customers and stuff. You know, your PR people. So, yeah, I guess basically the lead dev for Armada was talking to me. Real briefly, and after we got through like the initial "hi, how are yous," this is a nice con or whatever, then I got called away to judge another table, and then I've realized after the fact, because I was judging a Legion tournament at the time, that who that was that I was talking to, and I felt really dumb. And then see him again the rest of the day, and it was actually Sunday. That was the last day, and so I flew out in the morning afterwards. So, yeah, basically, I had my chance, and it was gone, and I had no idea. That's what happens, and it's easier to know who like the X-Wing devs are, because I talked to Frank Brooks for a little bit for X-Wing, briefly, and so that was kind of, so that was cool. And he actually knew who I was, too, so that was kind of, or he had heard of me at least. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, but the thing is, like, people like your Alex Davies and your Frank Brookses, and like, they're on screen all the time. They're doing interviews with Team Covenant. They're doing, all of these, and I need to get... So what I need to do is I need to get a microphone and like a more professional setup. And I didn't bother even, doing any of that for this one, because I figured I was going there. I was going to be working most of the time. So all of that other stuff is going to be pretty, it was going to be hard to do when I was working. So if I go back next year, I'll probably have a better setup and maybe actually do some interviews with people on camera and that sort of thing, and try to do it right, more like some kind of media person. I got a little press pass to go into the media room after the in-flight brief, and I didn't even go to it because I had to go pick up my badge, and they were going to close in like 45 minutes, so I had to get over there and find the place, and then I was so exhausted, I just went to sleep. Yeah. So, let's see. But I did talk to a couple of other people. I don't know if they were marketing or whatever, but like I would just talk to whoever I could about Armada, and I remember one person I asked, like, how is it performing, or is it doing bad or poorly, and they're like, well, basically, like, we're not gonna discuss sales and figures and things like that. I'm like, oh, all right, I wasn't actually looking for a number. I was just so basically I didn't get much of an answer there. But the one thing that multiple people did say is that they thought the community was great for Armada, so that's good. Although it kind of sounds like a consolation prize. Like, oh, the community's great. All right. Yes, the Star Wars miniatures game from 2008 had an AT-AT, and that game was about the Imperial Assault scale, much smaller than Legion. Legion would be the Kenner or Hasbro AT-AT that was like from the Power of the Force, or the original AT-AT, the one that was like this big. It'd be way too big to have in the middle of it. And the thing, it has to have a base too, and you're also using terrain, so it'd have to be walking. Couldn't. There's just no. I mean, unless I don't know. I just can't see it actually happening unless they do some, creative out of the box thinking. If you're gonna get into 2.0 and you're looking for advice and what you should buy to get into the game, I'd say It's a tough one because I probably need to do a proper video on something like this. But I'd say the first thing to do is see if anybody will give you some of their, or trade you or something like that. If you can make a deal with somebody to get some of their spare ships. Like, here's the thing. A conversion kit has a lot of cards in it and a lot of stuff. A conversion kit is a monster deal. Has almost everything you need to play the game. I mean, you still have to buy a core set, but a conversion kit for, let's say, Rebels has like about 2 of every ship's worth of stuff for the entire game. Except it doesn't have all the bases and the ship models. So the plastic it doesn't have. Now, if you have a friend who bought, let's say, 3 A-Wings. Well, I don't know if A-Wing is a good example. Let's go with Y-Wings. Let's say you have a friend that has 3 Y-Wings, and they buy a conversion kit. And that's going to give them enough to outfit 2 Y-Wings. If they're okay with only running 2 Y-Wings in 2.0, you might work out a deal where they give you their 3rd Y-Wing. You need the ship model, the pegs, and the plastic base. Granted, you can buy plastic bases and stuff, so you really just need the ship model. They sell multicolored plastic bases. Those are cool. So if you can get some extra, just the ships, or the ship models themselves, you can just buy a conversion kit. You have a ton of stuff. That's actually not a bad way to go. All right. So if you can get, because I have a lot of extra stuff I'm not using. I just did this video I just posted about like organizing and storing your X-Wing stuff. I've got all this, I've got like 1 or 2 of everything on my shelf. Everything I think that I'm realistically going to fly, I have extras. I had like 7 TIE Advanced, so I had 6 TIE Interceptors, but only enough stuff in the conversion kit for like 2 Interceptors. And so I'm like, I'm not going to buy a whole nother conversion kit just so I can have, 6 Interceptors. I think they should have given us more. I don't know. I have to look and see how many Interceptor dials I have now. But if you know somebody who's got extra ships, see if you can buy those from them for cheap, or work out a trade or something like that, and that would probably be a real cheap way to get into 2.0. Or if you want to get in on a more balanced approach, just buy the new expansions as they come out. Pick a ship that you like, or a couple ships that you like, and just buy the new ones. The new ships have great paint jobs, and a lot of them are newer models that are improved. And they're going to come with quick build cards, and they're probably the best entry point for a new player. All right, let's see. You watched my 2018 What to Buy First videos for Armada. You want to get a Quasar. Well, the Quasars are, I believe they're at the printer right now, so they will be coming back in stock. Second best choice for the Empire instead of the Quasar? Well, I mean, I think it would be in the same video. If you watched the 2018 video and I said to get a Quasar, well, just whatever was the next choice. I mean, off the top of my head, I think the Chimera is probably your best bet. Quasar is really good for a lot of the upgrade cards and the functionality, but it's not everybody's favorite ship to fly. So I think the Chimera is going to suit you really, really well. It's an Imperial Star Destroyer. And it comes with enough stuff to outfit your old regular Imperial Star Destroyers too, and it comes with 2 squadrons, so it's already a really good value. It comes with Thrawn. Thrawn's good. It's a decent carrier. If you want the better carrier version of it, you probably need the original Imperial Star Destroyer packs. But yeah, those are good. Also get a Demolisher. Get a Gladiator. I mean, Demolisher is amazing. It's really, really fun. All right, let's see. Bum. All right. What heavies for Legion should come out for the next Rebels and Imperials? Rancors. I want Rancor riders. No, I don't know, man. They may not do any. They may just be holding off for the Clone Wars for the next heavies. I don't know. I'm actually interested to see once Clone Wars comes out, how will the waves of expansions be? Will it just be, will they mix them all up, or will we have like one wave that's only Clone Wars and then one wave that's only Galactic Civil War? I would imagine at least at first it'd be all Clone Wars to try and get them caught up. But yeah. Yeah. So if you don't have any X-Wing 1.0, you don't need to get the conversion kits. No, the conversion kits for X-Wing 2.0 are designed simply for you to take all your old X-Wing 1.0 ships and the plastic stuff and bring those in to 2.0. It does have a lot of cards and things that are good in there as well, but you will probably want to I don't know, you probably want to get a couple of X-Wing 1.0 stuff. It depends on how competitive you want to be. Like if you want to fly the gunboat for the Empires in 2.0 on day one, the only way to do that is to get a gunboat right now in 1.0 and get the conversion kit. But if you're willing to wait until they re-release the gunboat under 2.0, and who knows when that'll be, that might be next year, it might be the year after, who knows, then you can wait. I think the game will be open-ended enough and it'll have be balanced enough that if you just go with the new stuff that's printed under 2.0, you can still have a winning list and have a good time playing it. All right. Let's see what else do we have. You feel like the whole First Order idea, look, and story is pretty much the laziest bit of writing in all of Star Wars. Okay. Let's see. We got some other questions and stuff. Do I think they'll add the LAT or the ATTE to Legion? Those are kind of big. I think the LAT is very iconic. I definitely think the LAT will come. But ATTE might be a little too big. It depends. I don't know. It's tricky because any big vehicle like that, like if it has a standard base, that base is going to be huge, and you have to have play area enough that that base could move through. So an ATTE, unless it's going to be static, and maybe that's a way for them to do stuff like the AT-AT and the ATTEs, just have some big vehicles that are just set pieces, basically. Maybe that's something that they'll do. I don't know. I mean, and even if they don't, nothing's stopping you from doing it. Just, get one yourself. 3D print one or something like that. Does X-Wing have the Millennium Falcon from Solo? Absolutely. I've done an unboxing video of it. It's called Lando's Falcon. And it's awesome. Yep. All right. So I don't know. I'm going to wrap this up here pretty soon, but I think KeyForge is a lot of fun, and it drives me nuts when people like to just troll, and I shouldn't let it get to me, but people do, and everybody I talk to about it, and everybody who's I've taught it to seems to really like it too. So I don't think there's any gambling involved in that at all. The Super Star Destroyer at Gen Con was a prototype. It was not the finished miniature, and certain aspects of that were not final, including the paint maybe end up being different in the production copy. I'm not 100% sure on that yet. I was very close to getting them to get it out of the glass case and put it on the tabletop, so I could take some pictures of it and promote it a little bit more, but it wasn't allowed due to licensing. There was some with it not being final, there were some problems with getting it out, and the paint was one of those reasons that I don't think the paint scheme had been fully approved quite just yet. So yeah, it means the final model may end up having red engines. I don't think so. I don't think they'll make a change that drastic, but we'll see. It's it's a long way between now and whenever the thing is going to come out, and it could be as late as March of next year, so we might be waiting a long time for that thing. All right. Let's see. There's like quadrillions of deck combos for KeyForge. Yeah. So I need some suggestions on games because I was thinking of live streaming some more video games or some Overwatch or things like this. You ran the Akbar Nebulons and got second in the turn. Awesome. Awesome. I got second with it also. But it was only a 2-round tournament. And so, 2 rounds isn't really enough time to have a true tournament. But it's fun. It's still fun. So I'll play in a 2-round tournament anytime because it's quick too. It doesn't take all day. Only takes most of your day. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got time for today. So I will talk to you guys later, and probably gonna play some Overwatch or something like that, and maybe play Moira tonight. All right, guys. I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day. See ya.